Welcome Wanderer, I got great news. Leveling is not slower, leveling actually became way faster. 2 hours to level 60. And the seasonal rank giving you skill points, loot, and then also paragon points at the end goes quite quick. Yes, we're still starting with only 1 skill point. However, it kind of speeds up really fast. Let me break it down step by step, which things are working, how Capstone Dungeons are, and how the progression feels into Torment 1, and if it's still fun and worth it to actually play Diablo 4 in Season 11. Let's take a closer look at the seasonal rank. That is your new Renown Seasonal Journey Challenge. And in order to earn your first skill point back, you simply have to go into the Helltide, get 200 cinders, open 3 chests, defeat 20 monsters with a Duriel affix, and then defeat a Pang of Duriel. Those are the new Hellborn. And boom, instantly, you have 1 more skill point. While for some reason, everything feels way more squishy. And while you're actually in that Helltide doing things, you're also going to try to summon the Hell Maiden, which is now Duriel. Why do we want the Hell Maiden so super quick? Because if you slay Duriel, you're going to be unlocking his slot in the Divine Gift menu. Then you travel to the Heavenly Forge from any mayor city, and here the angel Hadriel is going to give you, after talking to him and choosing the option Overview Reputation, the actual power. And this is where it gets completely bonkers, because the Essence of Pain says, Pangs of Duriel can drop socket bolts. Okay, we don't want this. So we're going to put that into the Corruption slot, which says Pangs of Duriel ambush you more often and have a chance to shatter your barriers of fortified life. Doesn't really matter. What matters is the actual Purified one. Maggots and Helltide can drop experience globes double while purified. Refill a healing potion every 20 seconds. Cool. The Helltide is actually full of maggots. And I do believe these XP globes might be getting a little bit too much XP. Because in the matter of seconds, I've been just flying up on levels. However, if this is the intended XP, it would feel extremely good to actually do the things you're supposed to do, because I'm supposed to get these XP globes. They're supposed to be doubled, and well, this is probably the XP I should be getting. And the same XP wise is for finishing Whispers. I actually went into a Helltide, summoned Duriel, killed him with level 14, and it instantly gave me 3 levels, while actually handing in my Whisper gave me 2 to 3 levels early, really pushing me fast forward as I do the things you're supposed to do. Now I said we only need to do the Helltide to get our first skill point. That's really easy. As you then slay Duriel, you collect corrupted material from defeating a lesser evil, Duriel, and we equip a divine gift, plus complete the first mission and reach tier 3 in the reputation board. Second skill point, right? 2 of the 12 missing skill points already earned back. Then you have to go to 1 Undercity run and get Andariel at the end. Boom, 3rd skill point. And while you then kill Andariel, you're also unlocking her power. So from this point on, we have 20% more resistance or 30% more movement speed. Both of these are incredibly efficient, especially the 20 resistance really nicely boosts your toughness further upwards to make you even more tanky. The interesting thing is you don't need to do any of these to do the Capstone Dungeon for unlocking the next seasonal rank, because I need to complete the Turret Menagerie in hard difficulty to advance to rank 2. But I can do this at any level. The monsters will always be level 30 in the Turret Menagerie. They will never be higher or lower. And as soon as that's done, 1 skill point, legendary items, and instantly rank 2. Now I will recommend not actually going into the Capstone Dungeon early. Why is that? The Capstone Dungeon is long and tedious. And it's definitely too long. As much as I love Capstone Dungeons are cool, I really enjoy them. But considering that I'm getting so much XP outside of the Capstone Dungeon, doing the Capstone Dungeon slows me down. It doesn't speed me up. Killing a Capstone Dungeon boss was 3 levels, yes. But actually getting to that boss and getting him killed with level 25, 26 takes too long. Especially since with the missing skill points, you're not at your key passive with level 26. But with level 30, exactly with level 30, and the skill points that we're getting from the seasonal journey, you make it to your key passive. And your key passive is a huge amount of power. In my case, 40% more damage and attack speed per minion. And I have 8 minions at this point. That's a super boost. Now, going through the Capstone Dungeon itself is fun if you're appropriately leveled. As I mentioned, if you have the appropriate power, if you have enough toughness. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big slugfest. Right now, the recommendation is get to level 30 with the overworld activities. Get to level 30 with these maggots to really boost your XP meaningful. And also with the favors that are just absolutely going crazy Tree of Whisper XP wise. And then as you're level 30, 32, 33, then just easily blast through the Capstone Dungeon without taking any skill point. Honestly, don't try to do it level 20, it's useless. Because it's going to slow you down and not speed you up. Since finishing it is only a few levels, and the gear you get inside is level 30. And it is also locked to level 30. If I go in too early, I can't use the pieces I get. If I go in too late, it's useless. So kind of going in at 30 is more or less the perfect level. Or 31 or 32. But going in with level 40, you pretty much do a useless activity just for your rank. The same actually goes the Hellish Descent in Penitent. That's level 50. Yes, level 50 and Penitent difficulty. And I kind of went in there with level 46 and I was just dying way too quick because my toughness wasn't high enough. As I then went back with level 56, my toughness was so high that I wasn't taking damage. I was obviously permanently fortified and the fortified was consistently healing me. I wasn't taking any damage anymore. But every item piece I was finding was also useless. However, it was a bunch of aspects, so that was kind of good. One interesting thing about your seasonal rank, you're actually getting the pit unlocked and the tower from finishing this on. So if with level 50 in Penitent, you're strong enough to clear the dungeon, you could then keep leveling in the pit if you wanted to. That's it. Ta-da. And in tier 2 to unlock your skill points, it's just collect 3 divine gifts. This one is bugged. It's not activating right now. Getting those 3 divine gifts is super easy. Summon and defeat Asmodon. You literally just go here, down, and then hit an altar and you summon Asmodon. No materials are needed for the summon itself. With the materials though, you could open a big loot chest. That being said, if you just want to unlock your power, if you just want to get this whisper done, I activate the altar and boom, there he comes. You kill a bunch of minions and he pops out. Welcome Asmodon. You can now fight a world boss. This is obviously Torment 1 and I do a lot of damage, so he dies rather quick. I recommend killing him on normal in the beginning, because if you do him on Penitent or something, it might take very long. And look at this death animation. Isn't that the coolest death of a boss ever? If I now had the 5 corrupted eyes of Belial, the corrupted claws of Endariel, and or also the corrupted hearts of Duriel from these fights, then, well, I could open these loot caches and get myself tons of loot. I'm not sure if I can open all 3, which actually would be extremely nice. And I pretty much would like to see how hard he's later in Torment 4. During the leveling, we'll also pick up temper recipes. And since we can choose our temper now, it's very simple to get yourself just your bonus summon damage, boom, magic, and put it on the weapon. It's quite cheap to do this on normal items, so this is a greater affix item. If I take now a normal item and I try to apply the temper, I don't think it's going to cost me corrupted. No. See, that was just 15 Veiled Crystals, and I'm at tons of Veiled Crystal already. You actually get many of them this time around easy. So it's not that hard anymore. And the same goes for actually enchanting things. If I take a 750 item or anything normal, it's just 5 Veiled Crystals and money. And I'm already sitting at 21 million money just from literally leveling from 1 to 60. So before that, putting aspects on things was quite annoying during leveling because sometimes it was too expensive to put it on a weapon or an amulet. But if I now need an offensive aspect on a weapon here, aspect of reanimation to give me another 88% bonus damage, it cost me again 5 Veiled Crystals and 200,000. That's nothing. Like you just put it on right away, and even if you get a new weapon a bit later, it's fine. You can still do it. Okay, you made your way to 60, cleared both Capstone Dungeons, made your way to the pit. Now, what about Paragon points? How easy are they to get? And that's where it gets a bit more sluggish, because you're starting the season with 1 Paragon point. You get to 60, you have 1 Paragon point, which means you also reach your first legendary node way slower. You can put literally 1 point in here. Obviously, the first levels are quick, still though, you're not instantly going to get to the cult leader node, and most importantly, you're not able to just jump to rank 4. It says complete the Unseen Awakening, hit tier 15 in Torment 1 for 4 more Paragon points, And I need to complete an Artificer tier 1 for 1 more Paragon point. Plus, I actually need to defeat Belial in the pit, yes you heard right, for a skill point. Let's go step by step. First, we're going to do obviously an Artificer's tier 1, or 10 to go into Torment 1. Here, you just need to tap the Eyes of Belial, and if you tap 5 of them, you fight Belial at the end. And it's quite the cool boss fight. You'll be obviously able to nuke him completely quick later on. It's still nice that you actually get him there. But since it's boom, another skill point unlocked. And that was all the free skill points you could get in the first 3 ranks. Level 60, done. Now, what about that Unseen Awakening? Because that one is way harsher. It says it's a pit tier 15 Torment 1. But the boss fight itself is more like a Torment 2 boss fight. Because you get 2 bosses and you get to kill them at the same time. And their damage output is crazy. If you don't have a character that has already a bunch of affixes, tempered, aspects, all that kind of stuff, you're going to get your ass whacked. So just going into Torment 1 as you're used to as soon as you're 60 is possible. But then pretty much being ready for Torment 2 instantly is not possible. Because you're simply lacking the Paragon points. First, you actually got to do your Whispers, your Helltides, your whatsoever, and push to 30, 40 Paragon points before you can consider doing further stuff. The main reason for that is that we're getting less items than ever, and we're actually going to be missing some aspects. I still don't have Occult Dominion for my maximum amount of skeletons. I'm lucky to actually have Fell Gluttony, but I don't have the Shade Mist aspect. I'm missing a lot of aspects because I got less items during leveling, and it was only a 2-hour journey. And you're missing a big damage boost from your Divine Gifts. They're not like chaotic perks. They give me Healing Potion Refill, Fortify, Increased Armor, and Resistances. That's it. Alternative, I could get some random stuns. I could get Unstoppable every 12 seconds, more movement speed, or a barrier if I get injured. Nothing of this is making me stronger. It's making me tankier so I can survive better. It's not making me stronger in any way. This means your real power is from your Paragon board, and if you don't have the points, you're kind of ruined. This is certainly slowing down the Torment experience. However, due to the extreme leveling from the actual bonus XP points here in the Helltide with the maggots, you can fly through the Paragon ranks. I mean, you get to Torment 1, and then you actually live inside the Helltide again, right? Do 1 Helltide, get all the chests, and boom, you should already have your 30 Paragon points. What about the tower? Are we going to interact with this in any way before the end game? And actually not. I mean, sure, you can go into the tower as soon as you have the pit unlocked, but it's not giving you meaningful XP. And I don't know why you would be fighting for a leaderboard rank at this point, right? But the new activity, the tower, is literally meant for the end game. You could still get a feeling for it. You enter, there's a countdown happening, you kill things, and then you just kill things faster, right? So you're just trying to get as quick as this as possible through the highest rank possible. But again, this is like useless to even do. Like, there's no loot here, right? I need to gather these orbs now, and then I need to go. But if I don't have a character that's maxed, if I don't have a character that already has tons of movement speed, if I don't have my aspects and all that kind of stuff, it ain't worth it to go in here, right? And at the end, you'll fight a Tower Guardian. And that's actually the tower. So this is what you do after you're done with the pit. This is what you do after you finish your seasonal journey, after you have 200 Paragon points, after you have your gear masterworked and sanctified. And I guess then you can try to fight for leaderboard rank or just see how well you can perform. Because beforehand, again, why? Right? I mean, for the fun, sure. But from a sense-making progression kind of style standpoint, it doesn't really make sense, does it? Good. What about our new defense stat, Toughness now? It's a bit confusing. Because Toughness says it's the total amount of raw damage of each type you can take after considering all damage mitigation sources. This says I can take 17,000 damage, fire, before I would die. However, how much is 17,000 fire damage? Because my enemies don't show any damage numbers. Right, I could look at my life as I get hit, but I won't do that, right? I'll play the game and I get hit by 10 things at the same time or 20 things at the same time. So you kind of never know if you have enough toughness or if 14,000 toughness is enough for Torment 1 until you are in Torment 1 and you get hit and you kind of feel like it's not enough and you get to boost it now. Not like the armor and resistance values from before, where you knew if I'm at 75 and 1000 armor, I'm maxed out and I'm good. Now, obviously, with armor and toughness, more is more, which means you're pretty much going to always go to your tempering, put in the armor, defensive, choose armor, equip that. Then go to the next piece, right? And get yourself even more armor. Because armor is also elemental resistance. So just get more toughness. Just put more on. Get more resistances. Get more of everything. That being said, it feels bad. Because again, I never know, is this appropriate for the level? Is this not appropriate for the level? The old system was definitely more convenient and easier to understand. We will get used to this. Because you simply just have to get more. And if you're not tanky enough, you teleport back again, right? And just temper. If I can't beat a boss, I quickly teleport out and temper. Still though, at the moment, I don't like it. What about the new Masterworking now, as soon as you're in Torment 1? Good thing is you don't have to temper before you Masterwork. So as soon as I get a weapon, and I have a little bit of op design, I can instantly start Masterworking. And it will increase our damage. Not by a lot, but hell, this is another 30 DPS more. And 30 DPS more on a 350 DPS weapon. We're here in total now, that's 50 DPS more, right? That's quite good. That will just wholesale make us do more damage. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you get another greater affix if you now do the final upgrade. Which will cost you only Forgotten Souls, Opticide and everything, no other resource. Boom, I Masterwork. Ta-da! And we get the 30% attack speed, greater affix. Nice, right? It doesn't show, like they kind of forgot to show, but I just meaningful boosted that up. That's crazy. The final step would now be going to the Heavenly Forge, and you can go here after killing a lesser evil, if you're lucky, or if you have the materials to go to the Heavenly Forge, then you slap it on, and we can press Sanctify. Good, magically we have Sanctification stones, you press the Sanctify, and the item is indestructible now. So that was useless. I just sanctified this for nothing. It ignores durability loss. This item is now officially bricked. What about my axe? If I go with my axe in and sanctify it, I get a new affix added. That new affix is 887 max life. Quite nice, but at the same time nothing special. Because if I sanctify my amulet, I can an affix upgrade it to a greater affix, which is actually good. I prefer that over getting 800 max life. But the real deal would obviously be that you're looking for the bonus aspect, right? That you would get double aspect on. But as you notice here right now, it's completely random. So I just had 3 items here, and these are obviously my pinnacle items, right? These are my items I have 20 times Masterworked. These are my items I have tempered, maybe re-rolled into the perfect affixes that I wanted to. And then I get something like indestructible. And that's it. That the weapon is ruined because it didn't get a boost. Which means I now have to find a new weapon that I could then re-sanctify. And that gambling gameplay loop it's going to be something. Because you're constantly looking for new items that are equivalent, if not better, than your existing item, to then Masterwork, temper, reroll, affix it up, to then hope the Sanctify doesn't ruin it. And if the Sanctify ruins it, all your grind has been useless, and you're going back to the drawing board to grind again. Now I kind of make it sound bad, however, it is actually adding a chase, right? So like the Chaos Armor, you're going to be stuck trying to find new items to then just get the perfect double aspects to perform better in the tower. And that's at least giving us an activity to do this for, because before we would get the Chaos Armors just to simply have the Chaos Armors, and nowadays you would want to do it for the tower and or deeper pit tiers, but still, there is something to do it for. So for the grinders, it's a grind. It's actually finally a grind that's meaningful and that will help you to then perform better in certain activities. And interestingly enough, when we're talking about activities, they removed the Resplendent Spark from Uber Lilith. Yep. You're now getting it here from tier 6, and then from tier 7 you're getting another Resplendent Spark, plus the Resplendent Spark from the seasonal reputation board at Hadriel. That's still a total of 3 sparks for 1 mythic, and then another mythic if you don't like the current one. And in order to really get all the bonus Paragon points, you need to reach tier 18 in the board, upgrade your divine gifts rank-wise, and finish the pit tier 60. Yes, if you finish at pit tier 60, you get a Paragon point. That's how long it's going to take to get all of the bonus ones. I really like the 25 in the beginning. I really like that. What I can tell you though is that the leveling did feel good, because 2 hours to fly through was really nice. What was kind of confusing was picking up yellow and blue items for the first 30 levels. Yep, every like yellow item is just better and meaningful better with more toughness, armor, and anything. And they can have 3 greater affixes, so that's kind of cool. But it is a bit weird to just pick up those items really that time, because usually by level 20, 25, you had already some legendaries. And now by level 35, 40, I was legendaried out. Still, I mean, with 2 hours of leveling experience right now, if it stays this way, I'm fine. If you then do the activities you're supposed to do, right? If you do the Hell Tide, if you get your Divine Gift, if you get the bonus XP globes. Same goes for Torment. You're still meaningful leveling forward as you're then doing the activities you're supposed to do, as you're getting the maggots, as you're killing the Asmodan, as you're getting your whispers. It's not slowed down, as it seemed like it would slow down from the patch notes. All of this being said, I can't shake the feeling saying that if they simply introduced the new tempering and masterworking and left Renown as is and didn't get the Capstone Dungeons in, I might have had more fun. It's not that these are terrible per se. They give you a meaningful journey that you need to work yourself through, right? That you need to look at. Still, it feels a little bit extra. Now, as a casual player, it might actually be more fun because you can log in and you have a set of activities to do, right? You know, today I'm going to collect the Divine Gifts. Then I'm going to finish the Hellish Descent. I'm going to advance. I'm going to go to tier 8, rank up my Divine Gifts, kill Asmodan as a world boss. You have a set of activities to do. Whereas as the blaster, I'm obviously like, I want to go. I don't want to get held back by a set of activities. It definitely plays better than a red. However, the Capstone Dungeons need to be shorter. You're spending so much time inside of them, and it just feels like tedious and annoying. They are fun to do. The boss fights are fun, and the encounters are great. But since you can go in there over-leveled, it kind of defeats the point of making a challenging, long, fun dungeon. Because if you don't do it on the same level, then you just feel like it's tedious because you're meaningless blasting through. I mean, I at some point I just ran through the dungeon, didn't even fight a single mob because my toughness was high enough, and the only thing I fought was the boss at the end. More movement speed is king in this regard. All in all, I did enjoy my level experience, and I highly encourage everyone to go on the PTR and check it out and tell the devs what you think and how the level experience actually is and feels. The Divine Gifts are definitely lackluster compared to Chaotic Perks, but hey, the bonus XP was quite juicy. What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. I hope I could present everything to you nice and meaningful. Also check out our Season 11 Power Ranking tier list if you have missed out on it. I know a lot of builds are broken right now with trillions of damage, but it's pretty adequate. Enjoy.